Much of discussions about the conflict in Yemen center around Saudi Arabia and Iran, but amidst it all are Yemen's citizens caught in the crossfire. I-24 News reporter Anna Ahronheim spoke to several such citizens about the almost forgotten war being fought there. Do the Yemenis themselves support the Saudi-led coalition? Are they truly being held hostage by the Houthis, as the Saudis claim? We'll hear more about those who spoke to I-24 News about daily life in the midst of a 5 months civil war. And right now, joining me is Nisma Al-Zebi, a civil engineering student from southern Yemeni port city of Aden. Good evening. Thank you very, very much for joining us.
Thank you.
So, Nisma, we've been hearing a lot about the bombardments and about the Saudi coalition and about how Yemen is a very strategic place, but we're not hearing the stories. We're not hearing what you are actually experiencing each and every day. Try to tell me a little bit about that.
Well, for everyone who have been saying that totally wrong, this war has started when Arab militia, called name itself Houthis, have decided to take over Yemen by the power of weapons. So it all started in August last month, when Houthis have controlled the capital of Yemen, Sana'a, and then in March. In March, the situation have begun much worse when Houthis have decided that they want to control all of Yemen, and especially they have started with Aden. So they have begun the hardest war that Yemen have ever seen, and the Saudi coalition with the Gulf countries was trying to help Yemen to get rid of the militia.
Nisma, when you are telling me and you're and you are telling the story about that this is the biggest war that Yemen ever experienced, what do you mean by that? What do you see on the street? How do you experience it as Nisma?
Well, for me, it was hell on earth. This is the definition of this war. Since the 26th of March, the Houthi militia have targeted not only military places in Aden, they have targeted civilians. Me and almost half of people in Aden have displaced. Most people have been killed by their weapons or by diseases that have been spread because of their control. We have experienced almost 5 months of every day people were killed. People were killed by them. They were bombing everywhere they go. Every district they enter. They close the hospitals. They take over the food storages. They destroy everything in their ways. I can tell you how much horror we have experienced. Kids, old women, old men, all of them were targets of the Houthi militia who have no mercy for anyone.
Yes, Nisma Al-Zebi, thank you very, very much for that. And with me is right now our I-24 News journalist, Anna Ahronheim. Good evening. Thank you very much for joining me. Anna, what brought you to look for the stories behind the bombardment?
Well, every day we read stories about, this place being bombed, that place being bombed, but we never hear the stories of those being affected by the bombs. We never hear the women, we never hear the children. So I thought to myself, people need to hear that. People need to hear their stories. And once they hear their stories, maybe they would care more. Maybe they would be interested to see why exactly this is happening.
And how do you get to them? It's through social media?
Yeah, the wonders of technology and social media. I've been in touch with them through Twitter, through WhatsApp, through Skype. I myself, I'm very big on Twitter. I think that it's a wonderful means of communication and getting in touch with people that you would otherwise never talk to. So, yeah.
Anna, I'm trying to, she told, Nisma just told, maybe one tiny, tiny story of tons of stories that are in Yemen. Can you tell me what kind of stories did you hear coming from the people of Yemen that nobody actually is bringing their voices?
Sure. There was one man that I spoke to in Sana'a, Hisham Al-Omaisi, and he was telling me that they have no bomb shelters, they have no sirens, they have no warnings of incoming bombs. And so he stays with his children either in their basement, if they can get there quickly enough. If they're outside, they went to sewers. They have nowhere to go. Now, outside of Sana'a, you have other small villages still being targeted both by the Houthis, both by the Saudis, and they really have nowhere to go.
You know, I'm trying to think, how can you actually manage a daily lives under this kind of attacks, under this kind of war? When you ask them that, what did they answer?
They say life goes on. You know, it's a war zone, but even in a war zone, you have to live. And they go to school. 429 schools have been affected in Sana'a alone and in the Sana'a region. But they still try to go to school. The children still try to play. There are still weddings. People, I spoke to one man who works with Save the Children. He's the interim director there in Yemen. And he was telling me that one day he heard all these explosions and he was worried. He started to run, but then he realized it's a wedding in his neighborhood. It's not a rocket. It's not a bomb attack. It's a wedding.
You know, one of the most wonderful things in media is sometimes that you're showing something and immediately we think that in all the places in this area there is a big war. Is it the same situation in all Yemen, or you try to talk with different people from different areas in Yemen and they gave you the same stories?
Well, Nisma is from Aden, which is in the southern port region of the country, and it's been actually very different than how it is in Sana'a. I mean, the bombardments are very much the same, but right now the city of Aden is under control by the Saudis. Sana'a right now is not, and so there's still a lot more targeting by the Saudis in Sana'a. And in Aden, it's a bit more complicated. You have Al-Qaeda there, you have the Islamic State there, and you have the Houthis that are still trying to fight to, get their control back over the city.
So, of course, for the entire story, you are welcome, our viewers, to get into i24 News website and look for Anna's story. Great story. Anna, thank you very, very much for that.